Alright, how's it going everyone? So, it is my first day out for the primitive firearms season here in Massachusetts. It's late in the afternoon. I've only got about 2 hours left to shoot and light here. I'm heading to a spot that I put a trail camera out back in the beginning of the archery season. I put it out in the first week, hunted the spot once during the archery season, and I just have not been back here to maintain this trail camera or to see if there's any activity back in this piece. I'm gonna go out here, check some deer trails, probably do some still hunting. I don't know if I'm gonna sit in a spot at all for the last hour or so, or if I'm just gonna keep still hunting around the whole evening. I guess we shall see, depending on what sign I find, but I'll see you guys out in the woods when I get to the trail camera, or beforehand if something happens. Alright, this is the bowl. There's like barely any water in here, and as you can see, that's the licking branch there, and it looks like that there was a scrape, so trail camera's right there. I'll show you guys if there was anything on it now. Scrapes in the same places that there were last year. Alright, well, it's the next morning. Didn't see any deer last night. I just ended up moving that trail camera to a different location, and that's probably it for me hunting that spot for the rest of the season. I didn't see as much sign as I would have liked for the amount of walking I had to do to get back there. As I said, it's the next day. It's December 18th, and Joey and I are heading out to do some deer hunting today. I'm going to be returning to the same spot that if you guys saw my last shotgun hunting video, where I missed that doe and I saw all those deer. I have the shooting stick this time, I have my muzzleloader, and the muzzleloader sighted in for over 100 yards. So if those deer pop out of the distance this time, I'll have no problem getting a shot off, and I should have no problem getting steady on them for a shot, unlike last time. Joey's going to be heading to the same location that he got his doe in that same video. I'm not sure yet if he's going to be staying with me all day. I'm planning on staying in this spot all day today, except for coming out for lunch, of course. But once he gets here, I'm going to talk to him, see what he wants to do. If he's going to stay in that general location all day, or he's probably going to end up still hunting after the initial morning sit. Just going to wait for him, and once he's here, we're going to head out to our spots, and I'll see you guys at first light. Alright, well, it's a little after 10:30 now. Haven't seen any deer. The squirrels around me have made me think that I've heard deer, but I don't think I've actually heard any walking around. Since the snow 4 days ago, there's quite a few fresh tracks going through the snow across this gas line here, so they're definitely still using it. But I'm going to be heading back here. I haven't heard anything from Joey, haven't heard a shot from him, so I'm going to head out for lunch now. And this afternoon, I'm going to be heading back to this exact spot. Since starting tonight and going into tomorrow, there's supposed to be a pretty big rain and wind storm. So I'm pretty sure the deer are going to be on their feet, moving around and feeding before that happens. So I think there's a good chance one of us is going to see something this evening. I think Joey's sticking around for the afternoon. I'll find out when I see him. Alright, back out into the woods. It's about 2 o'clock right now. So I got a little over 2.5 hours left to shoot in light. It's a good chance we'll see something, I think. Typically they come from the side that I'm on and come out into the gas line. But that's all the morning activity that I've seen, so I'm not sure if they're going to do the opposite and come from the other side. Most of the tracks indicate that they come from behind me, or this side of the gas line. Now, we shall see what happens. Joey saw 2 deer, he believes, this morning. He saw one come down a hill about 100 yards to his left. He said he just saw it through the trees briefly as it came down. And an hour later, when he went stalking over that way, he thinks he saw another one coming down the same hill in the same spot. He said it went behind some trees and never reappeared, but his wind was blowing up in that direction, so he believes it smelled him and turned back. When I was walking up past where he was, I saw a fresh set of tracks going down, then a fresh set coming up, so I believe that deer smelled him and turned around and headed back the way she came. He is out here again for the afternoon as well, so hopefully one of us has some action. Alright, well, no deer this evening. Unfortunately, Joey did see a deer, a doe, 60 yards away, but he texted me saying that he found out that his scope was loose. So he didn't take a shot, because he didn't know where it was going to hit. I'm not entirely sure of the whole story on when he discovered that, if he discovered it while he was pulling up on that doe or what. But I guess I'll find out when I see him again. So, between me missing that doe last week during shotgun, and him with his scope today on that doe, looks like we both need some redemption, so hopefully both of us can manage to do that. But it'll be a few more days till I go out again. Not sure if I'm going to be going back out to this spot or onto the farm. We shall see. But either way, I'll see you guys in a few days when I'm back out in the woods. Alright, back at it again. It is December 22nd. It's about 1 p.m. right now. Heading out to the same spot that I was sitting the other day. I sat out here this morning, didn't see anything, so didn't include it in the video here. I got about 3 hours left to shoot in light, or I will by the time I get down in there. Still plenty of sign, tracks crossing that road, scat all up and down, crossing over the gas line there. Something's gonna cross there at some point during the day. I'm just gonna hope that it's gonna be this evening. Put a trail camera out in this spot when I was out here this morning. I'm gonna head down into the spot, get set up, and hopefully something happens.
100 yards. That drop was perfect. When the smoke cleared, I saw her go into the woods, in the same spot that smaller deer went into the woods right there. And she keeps looking over into the woods, so I think she's dead right in the wood line there. Tail was down when she went in, so I'm confident that I got that deer. Thank God for the shooting stick. If I didn't have the shooting stick, there's no way I would have been able to get steady on her, but I was steady on both of those deer the entire time they were out here. But I could just see little blades of grass and sticks and twigs in front of their vitals. So I was waiting for that doe to move out to the left there, into that little clearing, for me to get a shot, and she finally did. So I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes, then I'm gonna go down there and find her. Yeah, I'd say she's dead. 20 yards into the woods. All right. Perfect shot. Awesome. Decent sized doe. Not as big as the one Joey got out here a few weeks ago. Cool. I get the tripod set up here. Alright, here we go. Beautiful doe. Definitely not as big as the one that Joey got out here. I'd say she probably weighs 90 pounds dressed. So what's that, a 110 live weight? She's definitely bigger than the other one that was with her. I think the other one was a doe fawn, is my guess. But awesome. I mean, I was super confident with that shot. I knew that's exactly where I wanted the shot to be. She was slightly angled, so the exit wound's going to be more toward the front shoulder on the other side. She was sticking around for a bit there, and did have one little window where I had the crosshairs on her, and I could have taken a shot, but I'm a long ways from the truck, so this is going to be a long drag out of here. I have to go back to the truck, get the cart, come back out here, and take care of her, but I'm super happy with that. Perfect shot. Couldn't ask for anything more. Deer number 5 for the year, tied for last year. But alright, I'm gonna get her gutted. I'm gonna get back to the truck, get the cart, and start the long journey out of here. I think I've got probably a mile and a half back to the truck. Luckily it's just a path, so I won't be dragging her through the woods, but either way, still quite the journey to get her out of here. But alright, let me get on it. Alright, so it's the next day. Here she is all hung up in the shed. Just gonna get to processing her now, and I'll be back out again at it tomorrow morning. My dad and I will both be heading out just for the morning tomorrow, Christmas Eve. Not entirely sure where I'm gonna go yet. I don't think I'm gonna go to the same spot. I think I might be just still hunting around, scouting new areas, see if I can find any buck sign for the last couple days of the season. But I'll see you guys out there in the morning.
Well, alright, it's the day I dread. It is the last day of the deer season. I went out once last week during Christmas Eve, bumped into some deer right at first light as I started walking around in the new area. It was way too dark to actually see them. I could only hear them bounding around in the woods. But other than that, I didn't see anything else that day. So my plan is to set up in the tree stand that my dad got his buck earlier in the archery season. I don't know if I'm going to be sitting there all day or just half the day. And I might move to the back farm field for the evening, or I may just sit back here, to be determined. Over the last couple weeks, there's been some pretty decent bucks walking in front of the trail cameras down in here under the stand. Quite infrequently, but it's the only place that I have around here that I'm actually getting bucks on camera. And I've been wanting to sit in this stand for a whole day sit all season, and it hasn't been right wind-wise or just having a better spot in general to see deer. There are some does, bunch of does that walk through here as well, so I could be seeing some of them. But got about 40 minutes until shooting light. Temperature's not too bad. It's about 28 degrees right now, and it's supposed to hover at that most of the morning. Little bit of wind, but I'll take it over those 10-15 degree days that we've been having in the last few weeks. So let me get all my things packed, and I'll see you guys out in the tree.
Alright, well, it's 10:30 now. Haven't seen any deer. But there's been a ton of squirrels and songbirds running around me all morning, so it's kept me entertained. Gonna head down, check a trail camera that I have, go get some lunch, and then I'll be back in the tree for the afternoon. So, I'll see you guys then.
All right, you guys ready for this one? You're gonna wanna stick around for this. So I got out of the tree stand probably 15-20 minutes early. I just had enough. I was ready to get out of there. And on my way out, I thought to myself that, yeah, I'll have a few extra minutes to go check the farm fields out in the front, and maybe at the last couple minutes of shooting light get a chance at a deer. So that's what I did, because it's literally right down the road. So I quickly drove down there. I pulled up in front of the gate. I had 4 minutes of legal shooting time left when I did that. Quickly grabbed my gun, hopped the fence. As soon as I start walking into the farm, to my left is the pasture that I was early goose hunting, and I could see 2 deer out there, but they were too close to the house across the street and the road for me to go after them. So I just kept going straight, and as soon as I round the workshop there, I can see 2 deer in the back of that field, 2 big deer. So I'm like, I only have 3 minutes left of shooting light, so I quickly run out to the middle of the field where there's an old fence post sticking up just to get a rest for my gun. Quickly throw a primer in there, get the gun up, and there's a big deer standing 80 yards broadside, looking right at me. I get the crosshairs on it. It is a big buck. It's the biggest buck I've seen while out deer hunting in years. I have the crosshairs dead on his chest, but I don't shoot. You know why? Because there's a little spike horn standing right behind him. The spike horn's butt was right behind that deer's shoulder. so I didn't want the bullet to go through and hit that deer as well. So I'm sitting there, I quickly grab my phone and look at it, and I have 53 seconds left of shooting time. So I have the crosshairs on this deer, just hoping that that little deer moved out of the way. And of course, it didn't. It stayed right put, so I didn't get a shot off at that big buck. 15 or 30 seconds after legal shooting light, they all boogered off into the woods. And then as I was walking back to the truck, my dad sent me a picture from his cell camera on the road leading from the back field where I got that doe earlier in the season to the field that those deer were in, of that same buck, or I'm assuming it was that buck. It was a big buck walking in front of the cell camera not 15-20 minutes beforehand. I was sitting in the tree stand all afternoon and thought to myself multiple times that I should move back there or at least check around the farm and hunt over on that side instead, but I decided to stay in the tree stand. And of course, made the wrong call. That's happened to me multiple times this year where I was just flip of the coin in the wrong spot and there were bucks in the opposing location from where I was. But nothing I can do about it now. It's the last day of the season and the season's over, so I guess I'm just gonna hope that that doesn't happen again next year. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.